All right, how's it going, everybody? All of my beautiful people here at Entrepreneurs Playground. Just wanted to reach out. We have a fantastic live session today with the amazing, the fantastic Amy Turner. Amy, say hi to the people.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Perfect. So the nice thing is that she is willing to share, open up, be transparent about some of the things that she's doing in her life, in her business, what she's creating, some of the things within her journey, because that's what we're all about here in the playground. We want to be able to share some of the experiences that we're having as entrepreneurs. No matter what level of the game that we're in, no matter what level of the game that you're in, we can always learn from each other. So the beautiful thing about that is, whether you just have an idea that you want to turn into a business, or you just have a side hustle, or you have an entrepreneurial passion you've been pursuing for decades, either way, the beautiful thing is there's always innovation, there's always new connections and relationships that can be built, and there's always collaboration that can happen. So I love being able to create a space like this, which is a safe space for entrepreneurs to come together, to connect, to just see value in each other, and they're not pitched all these sales stuff, you know? So this is just a great space. I love it. I love it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive in. So let's go ahead and start off with, we have Amy Turner. She's a fantastic coach right now. The beautiful thing is she was a therapist, or is a therapist turned coach, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But her background just shows her heart for people. She comes from that space. And so when you have that and you're able to see how you can help people in their life and in their business, it's just a beautiful thing. So Amy, can you start off by just sharing a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and I guess how you got inspired to be an entrepreneur?
Yes, perfect. So hi, entrepreneurs. My name is Amy, and I just recently actually got started as an entrepreneur. I've been a therapist for 7 years, and even while I was in school, they said that, you know, when you go be a therapist, you're not going to make any money. You're only doing it to help people. And there was something about me where I was like, you know what, that's not going to be my story. I'm not going to be that person that, of course, I want to help people, but I also want to be successful doing it and making a decent living. And I knew I was going to do it. I wasn't sure how. And then I came across this method that I use where I can actually use my coaching and kind of get out of the therapy, use my therapy background, but get out of the coaching, or get into the coaching, I should say. So that's more the entrepreneur. Am I coming in? It looks like I'm getting messed up.
Yeah, it looks like you're coming in clear. Everybody, if you can hear me, if you can hear Amy, if it's clear, just type a 1 in the comments. Let us know that you can hear us. All right, but continue, Amy. I can hear you good. Let's make sure everybody else can.
Okay, that just threw me off a little bit. So, but yeah, I am here to make a difference in people's lives, and I know that I can, and entrepreneur is exactly what I'm here to do. Oh, good, I see a 1. Okay, yay!
There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, so they're about 20 seconds behind us. So when we ask for questions, they'll come in. But that's perfect. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate you letting us know that you can hear us. Perfect. So being that therapist, being that person that's coming from that journey, and you just now started in the coaching side of your journey, it seems like, though, to me, most therapists still have a entrepreneurial spirit because, yes, they want to help people, but at some point, they end up wanting to have their own practice, right?
Yeah, I believe so. It just seems like a lot of therapists, we kind of get stuck in where we have to work for hospitals or work for other people because we're really creative and we use our brain in such a different way than a business aspect. And so as much as we want to have a private practice, a lot of us don't because we don't have that business aspect. Okay.
Makes perfect sense. So growing up, did you have any sort of, let's say, your parents or people in the community, someone that kind of gave you the foundation of wanting to be an entrepreneur or having an idea of being an entrepreneur?
My dad, he was in sales. And so that's kind of like an entrepreneur. But I really, growing up, I wanted to be a famous actress. I thought I was going to be like the Olsen twins' older sister and be famous by doing that. But no, I I didn't really think I was ever going to be an entrepreneur. I just thought I was going to be a famous actress. So it kind of just, I think through my own personal development, my own healing made me realize that I'm here to help other people because I helped myself so much that now I can go and do this as an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. So I completely agree with your dad being in sales. That's definitely an entrepreneur because there's a whole lot of commission involved. So it's feast or famine. But also actors are entrepreneurs.
True.
Right?
True.
So that's very interesting. All right, perfect. So here's the thing. So we're talking about, we're going to have a conversation today about limiting beliefs and overcoming that. So how did you get into that area of that being your passion and your focus?
That's a great question. I think it's because I had so many limiting beliefs. I thought I wasn't good enough. I know a lot of entrepreneurs, I've heard a lot of that whole imposter syndrome and just feeling like, who am I? And I'm not good enough. And how am I supposed to do this? And so we all just as humans have limiting beliefs.
Right.
And through doing my own personal journey to realize that actually I am good enough and I am unique and we all are. We all have a special gift to give to people. And so by me going through the shadow self, we all have a shadow self, we all have a light self, and by me going through that shadow self, I was able to understand and clear so many of my limiting beliefs. And I realized that my biggest thing is we are so powerful, just as human beings. We are so powerful, but we're scared of our power. And we don't know how powerful we are, and that's what limits us. And so my biggest thing is teaching everyone, like, no, we have so much power. We just had to buy into these stories, into these limiting beliefs that are keeping us in our comfort zone because it's scary to get out there.
Yeah, very scary. And so that's probably the exact same thing of you think about therapists being there to help other people, but therapists in and of themselves probably have a lot of limiting beliefs as to what ends up keeping them. Let's say therapists, even certain doctors, even psychiatrists, that keep them working for someone else versus starting their own practice maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. All right, so what separates you in your niche of being a coach, but coming from the therapy background? What separates you in your niche of being just freaking awesome? I mean, your company is called No BS Therapy. That's an amazing name. I love that name. But what separates you from everyone else?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my name is basically like, you don't have to go sit on a couch for 5 years. It's no BS. Let's get it done. So the way that I separate myself is a lot of people, when we think about therapy, we think about going into the past. A lot of people, when we think about coaching, we think about moving into the future. And so what I do is I do both. I go into the past and I go into the future. And I'm a big believer is that in order for us to heal, we have to feel. And that's what John Bradshaw said. And it's so true. We have to actually feel our emotions and go through that pain and go through that shadow self in order to actually heal ourselves. And so a lot of my clients, they come to me, Amy, I've been through years of therapy. I haven't gotten relief. I've tried everything. Nothing works. They come to me and they're just so sick of telling that same story over and over and over again. And so finally they come to me and maybe they have to share that story one more time. It's not a definite because that story might not even show up in our session. But if they do share that story, they only have to share it one more time. Because here's the cool piece about it is when they share that story through the rapid transformational therapy that I do, they actually get to realize that they created that story to protect them. Their brain had to create this limiting belief to protect them, to keep them in survival mode, to keep them feeling like they're good enough, to keep them happy because maybe they're not getting their needs met as a child. And so that limiting belief was created to protect them, but now we're adults. We don't need that limiting belief anymore, yet it's still in our subconscious. And one of the biggest things I can share is I had a client come in and he wanted to see me for money blocks. He didn't know why he's just having such a hard time making money. And so through the session, we found out, and he gave me authorization to talk about this, but through the session, we found out that he had to make a decision between 3 or 4 years old, which he completely forgot about. And in the session, he remembered his mom had him choose who his next dad was going to be between 2 different guys.
What?
Yes. Now, can you guys imagine a little kid of 3 or 4 years old having to choose his father because his mom doesn't want to make the decision? That's crazy making. So what we found out through the session is because he had to make that decision, and it was a bad decision, by the way, not bad, but that guy ended up being really abusive and awful to the family. So he had to carry that limiting belief that I make the wrong decisions the rest of his life.
Right.
And how it played into his money story is that he wouldn't make any decisions about money because he knew it was going to be wrong.
Gotcha. Amy, quick question. I see a few things talking about some disruption. How's your Wi-Fi connection? Are you connected hardwire?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right. So let's roll with it. If there's still issues, if it's really just really bad, let us know in the comments. All right. But as long as we're able to come through, okay. All right. Then we'll roll with it. All right. Appreciate the feedback, people. I see you, Z. I see you watching. I see you, Mary. I see you, D. All right. Okay, perfect. So that's crazy how I've seen that a lot in relationships where someone will make a decision within a relationship or date a certain person or a certain ethnicity or a certain, let's say they have a child or not, and then all of a sudden they attach that the circumstances around that individual with, oh, I can't date people like that anymore because it didn't work. And then that'll happen to me again. I see it happen all the time. So, all right. Steven says she's good. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good.
Yay.
All right. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. I appreciate you guys and your feedback. All right. So, okay. So let's talk a little bit about strategy because I've heard you say a few times, you said the word shadow self. So explain a little bit about that and how we can tap into it, use it, recognize it.
I would say probably the easiest way to start is feel your feelings. Especially us as entrepreneurs, we're constantly go, 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 go. Don't stop, just go. And it's like if you're having a feeling, if you're upset about something, if you're angry about something, if you're sad about something, stop. Let yourself actually feel that feeling because it's going to go away a lot sooner than you think it's going to go. And then you can move on with your entrepreneur spirit where you're go, go, go. But it's like we need to feel those feelings because we're constantly chasing the light, right? It's like all the good things and all of the things that make us excited. But haven't you guys all heard that every single person that's been an influencer for you is someone that they had to go through pain and you learn from their painful story about how they came up? Well, if they didn't go through that pain, they didn't go into that shadow self to be able to share with you and be an influencer for you. So we all have that shadow self. Just a lot of us get scared to embrace it because we want to be in that happy, excited feeling all the time. Okay. So your shadow self is, let's say, maybe you're like really evaluating your emotional self, your connection with your true identity, your truth versus just the external surface you. Yeah, it's kind of like we all just want to look at ourselves as these great human beings, which we are, but we also all have a little bit of a dark side. We all get jealous. We all get angry. We have those things that we don't like to present to the world. I mean, right now, Facebook, everyone's feeling so disconnected because everyone's sharing all the good things about themselves. How many times do you see people sharing what's really going on in their life? We don't broadcast that to people. And so that part of us is being like, oh, well, that's not a good part of us. But actually, we're whole people. We all have shadow and we all have light. And when you can, I love what Debbie Ford said, is she said, when you go into the dark, that's when you find the gold.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Z says identifying the disowned self. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. Interesting. So it's like, social media, people are posting pictures of the amazing meal, but they don't post the pictures of the top ramen they had last night.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that I love these kinds of conversations. We can create a little bit more transparency. Because behind the doors of entrepreneurship is not all the glitz and glamour of, grind, team no sleep, let's just make it happen and let's just make a lot of money, right? Forget about having a job, forget about the 9 to 5, let's just go out there and make it happen, entrepreneurs, And then you don't realize, I was having a conversation with someone today, and it's like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm full-time. What about health benefits? What about if, all these other things? What about if something goes wrong? What about, the fear of other mouths to feed, other people being dependent on you? And so there's a lot of things that we deal with that aren't necessarily talked about in the mainstream. It's all the glitz and the glamour of being a business owner, right?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with working with people in, let's say, give a strategy on something that someone can use, maybe a small shift in a habit in order to help really start to listen to their shadow self, or really start to help them to overcome limiting beliefs?
Okay, so one thing I want everyone to think about is we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Crazy, right?
Wait.
So
50, 70, 50 to 70,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, did it sound like I said something?
No, maybe I just heard it wrong. Okay. 50 to 70. Okay,
50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day.
Okay.
So
Go.
if you took action on every single one of those thoughts, where would you be? I mean, think about it.
Right.
We would probably be in straitjackets if those still existed, and just going crazy because we have so many thoughts that are just going all the time that we're not even aware of.
Right.
So knowing that, Dr. Joe Dispenza says that 95% of the thoughts that we have today are the exact same thoughts we had yesterday.
Huh.
95%.
Okay.
Okay? So knowing that, if you think about it, so yesterday we had the exact same thoughts, 95%. The day before we had the 95%. The day before. So it's just continually, we're all kind of these robots, in a sense, that are thinking the exact same thoughts. And when you think about that, if you go down to childhood, did you know that our identity is formed between the ages of 5 and 8 years old?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. So if you're an adult, an entrepreneur, and you're still living the identity of 5 to 8 years old, no wonder why we have nervous breakdowns. Because, I mean, think about it. If you guys have kids, if you've been a kid, we all have. Think of like a little boy or a little girl at 5 years old saying, this is exactly who I am. Crazy.
Right.
So going back to Dr. Joe Dispenza's quote, we're still thinking the same thoughts that we thought when we were 5 or 8 years old. We still think we're the same people. So that's just a... Mm-hmm.
I said interesting. And the interesting thing about that is, I see you, Jamal, watching now. The beautiful thing about that is, that's how people can feel stuck. They can feel like they're stuck in a rut, because like you just mentioned, you're having the same thoughts you had before, and then the day before, and then the day before. It's almost as if you feel like there's no progress.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And so knowing that, now what I like to do is I want you guys to think about like a mastermind or an online course. So say you have $5,000, whether you have it or not, whether that's nothing to you or whether that's a lot of money. Say you have $5,000 to spend on a mastermind or an online course. So, Elisha, why can't I say your name?
No, it happens. I get it all the time. I get some people that are like, is it Isaiah, Ezekiel? It's something in the Bible, right? So I get that all the time. No, you're fine.
Elisha, right?
Right.
Okay. So think about, what would you spend $5,000? What mastermind or what online course would you spend $5,000 on?
Like a specific one that comes to mind?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have spent money, that kind of money, on programs before. I can't think of any upcoming ones that I would now.
Okay, then what have you spent money on before?
Well, I've been to like a general Tony Robbins event. I've been a part of a mastermind group about 3 years ago. I have my own mastermind groups that I launched now, so I'm also a part of those, but it's different facilitating them. So, but I'm always about investing in my personal growth and my business growth through mastermind groups as well as through courses.
Okay, perfect. So like Tony Robbins is something that you've done before.
Right.
Right. And so for me, I would invest $5,000 in a speaking course right now, because that's what I want to learn how to do.
Okay, so you're thinking more broad. I was thinking more specific, like a specific person.
I put you on the spot.
Okay, all right. That's good.
And so all of you watching, put it in the comments too. What is something that you would spend $5,000 for? Because we're all entrepreneurs, so some kind of mastermind or online course. So now you know what you would spend money for. What would you not spend $5,000 for?
Interesting. Yeah, put that in the comments, guys. What would you spend $5,000 on a course or a mastermind group on? Like your development, that's an investment. Whether it's something where you're growing your coaching practice, or with other entrepreneurs in your exact same field, or something that's going to help you to scale your business, something that's going to help you to do more online, like create a greater online presence or branding. What is this that's something that you would invest $5,000 for? That's a great question.
And then once you have that, then thinking about what would you not spend $5,000 for? So Alicia, what would you not spend it for?
I would not spend $5,000 to go to a concert.
Okay.
I would not spend $5,000 for bottle service at a club.
Good point. I like that.
Okay. So
for me, I wouldn't spend $5,000 to learn how to cook, because I don't have time and I don't care. So now I want you guys to look at, okay, you know what you'll spend that $5,000 for, and you know what you won't spend it for. Now I want you to think of your thoughts. So when you have that thought, when we have these limiting beliefs, like I'm not good enough, would you spend $5,000 to listen to those thoughts over and over and over again?
No.
You wouldn't want to. That's not going to make you feel good.
Right.
But if you have the thoughts of I'm powerful, I can do anything, I'm amazing, whatever those affirmations are, would you spend $5,000 to hear those every single day?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the question is why are we paying so much more attention to our limiting thoughts than the ones that empower us?
That's a great question. I think the answer is fear.
Yeah, and tell me more. What do you think it's fear for?
Well, as people, we tend to spend more time. I see you, Chastity, checking us out. We as people tend to spend more time on heavy things, heavy relationships, heavy conversations in our head based on fear or pain, versus the light, loving conversations, because it's very easy. It doesn't weigh on us very heavily. So that's what I think. And have you seen the same thing? Yeah,
definitely. And that's how our brain's wired too. Our brain is wired to make sure that's why we go into fight or flight, to make sure when we were back in cavemen's that we weren't going to get mauled by a lion.
Right.
And now it's also that our brain constantly compares us with people, because back then we had to make sure that we can fit in the tribe.
Of course.
And so our brain is wired to constantly protect us. So when our brain makes us think of all the limiting thoughts, it thinks it's protecting us by keeping us in our comfort zone. And so we have to take that challenge and, okay, is that thought worth $5,000 for me to invest in?
Interesting.
Yeah. And so that's one way to just really think of your thoughts. And if you're saying like, oh, I can't do this, well, would you spend $5,000 to listen to a speaker say, I can't do this for an hour?
Okay, so that's an interesting strategy, because what happens is I'm a big fan of when we create goals, we make them measurable and we make them timely. And the nice thing about what you're doing is you're taking something that's very fluid, like a thought, and it's just kind of there. And sometimes it comes, it goes, it can be connected to an emotion or even a song, all these different things. And so what you're doing is you're attaching that to something very specific, which is a dollar amount. And you're saying, okay, well, would you spend $5,000 to have that song consistently play in your head over and over and over again? And most people would be like, no. And then some of the great conversations, we'd be like, yeah, I would. I really like that. It makes me feel good. I like the way it resonates with me. I like the way it feels in here. And so that's a great strategy.
And I love that you used a song with it. That makes it even better. Because that's the thing, the songs get stuck in our head. Mm-hmm. And so that makes it even better to think of it like a song where the song's just like, I'm not good enough, I can't do that. Like, no, we don't want that in our head.
Exactly. Very true, very true. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Look at that. I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm definitely taking notes. See, I got my notepad here. I'm taking notes. So let's make sure that if this is something that you know is going to be helpful for yourself or even somebody that you know in your personal circle, I would definitely suggest adding them into the group and suggest that they take a look at this video, because we actually had another video a few weeks ago with another therapist. And the beautiful thing is, even though we have two different individuals in a similar industry, conversations are completely different. Everyone has their own strengths. Everyone brings something new to the table. And that's what I love about this group. We have so much diversity, even with similar industries, and also diversity with diverse industries. So that's awesome. I'm loving this. Are you having fun right now?
I'm having so much fun. I kind of want to tell you one more thing that is actually really fun, but it's kind of silly, but it works. And we're going to look really silly right now, but it works for people. So tell me, if you want to, if not, I'll use something else, but tell me like a limited thought that goes through your mind, maybe daily, or just something that just doesn't make you feel good.
All right, put me on the spot.
Yep.
Limiting thought. Okay, so I guess, does that be business or personal, or for your example, does it matter?
Whatever. Just a limiting thought.
So I put together events, and I haven't put together a large event in probably 2 or 3 years, about 3 years. And so I'm looking at doing one in the middle of 2018. And so one of the limiting thoughts that I have is that I don't necessarily have the influence or the power or presence to be able to bring in what I need, which would be about, I'd say, 5,000 plus attendees.
Okay, so the thought shortened is that I don't have the influence to bring in what I need.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to play with that one.
Okay.
What we're going to do is you and I, and everyone, if they're watching, they can do it, but we won't hear them. We're just going to be silly with each other right now.
Okay.
So we are, and I know you're a man, but you can do it. We're going to go as high pitched as we possibly can. So tell me again, it was, I don't have the influence to
bring in 5,000 attendees.
Okay, so you and I both, I don't have the influence to bring in 5,000 attendees. So we're going to say that 3 times.
Okay.
On the count of 3, as high pitched as we can possibly go.
Okay.
So I don't have the influence to bring in 5,000 attendees, right?
Okay, we're going to say it 3 times back to back?
Yep, as high pitched.
Okay, so those of you that are watching, if you're watching now or you're watching later, I want you right now to think about a limiting belief, play along with this exercise, and whatever that limiting belief is, on the count of 3, say it with us. High pitch, super high pitch, 3 times. All right, so you got it? Got it in your head? You thinking about it? You already know mine. Think about yours. All right, so you count to 3.
1, 2, 3. What are we doing right now?
I mean, we're laughing
We're
about
laughing.
the limiting belief.
Yeah. You
Right.
just took that limiting belief that was limiting and making you feel bad about yourself, and now you're laughing about it.
Right. Very true. Very true. All right, you guys. I mean, another great exercise. Look at that. Strategy after strategy. Amy, you're killing it. That's awesome. The funny thing about that is, I mean, you can't help but to laugh in doing something like that.
Exactly.
You can't help it. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. So when you have those limiting beliefs, I can't make enough money, I'm not good enough, you can go high pitched with it. You'll make yourself laugh. Another fun one is keeping the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth and you can't move it. That one's really fun.
And what, you said a limiting belief?
Yeah. Like yours was, I don't have enough information, baby.
Okay. So the whole idea is creating a mental picture, a mental scenario where you're able to laugh and have fun with that limiting belief.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, nice. So let me see. Now, how about this? So we got some great strategies in there. We heard a little bit about your journey specifically, some of the things that you're doing. And I was wondering this, because being a therapist, we do have a lot of people that go from that, I'm a licensed therapist to now I'm looking to coach. And do you see having that license and the red tape and stuff that comes along with it, do you see that as a liability or a plus?
That's a good question. It's kind of both. And the reason why it's a liability is because as a therapist, we're very restricted in certain things that we have to do. And we do have to label people. And I don't agree with that at all. There's different things, restrictions and things that we have to do that I don't agree with. And so that's that liability. But then for me, it's been a plus being a therapist because I have the training and I have the knowledge, and I know when my clients come to me with their limiting beliefs and they come to me with their childhood issues, that they know that they're in a secure place because I am able to handle it.
Right. Okay, I get that. So in your journey, what would you say has been your biggest lesson?
My biggest lesson has been investing in myself. Completely investing in myself.
In what way? Financially?
Well, yeah, financially. I mean, like getting my own coach. Because I've had my own therapist, because to be a good therapist, you need your own therapist.
Right.
Your coach and your therapist can only take you as far as they have gone themselves.
Of course.
So that I invested in myself with that. Now going into being a businesswoman where I didn't learn this stuff in therapy school, getting my own coach and learning how to be a businesswoman. And that's been a huge benefit for me being an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. Interesting. Actually, it's funny. I did a live video, I think it was just yesterday, where I actually touched on that just a little bit. Did a quick 10-minute video and then I got cut off. But I got the point across of the fact that Oprah Winfrey mentioned that she has 4 coaches. And it's interesting when you think about that. It's like, well, she's doing extremely well. So if she has 4 coaches, how many do we need? And that whole conversation of success leaves clues. So if we start connecting with and learning from people that are successful in areas that we want to be successful in, then it's great that we can connect with them. And sometimes we can find a coach that's very well-rounded, that can help in multiple areas. but that can be rare. So a lot of times we do need coaches that are able to be that person that can help us when it comes to our physical fitness and wellness, someone that can help us in our business, a business coach, someone that can help us personally or in relationships. So there's a lot of different aspects that someone's specialty or strength can be in that we can learn from and connect with. So that's a great conversation. So how are you doing right now in your journey of coaching, of being coached and investing in a coach?
Yeah, I love your Facebook Live that you shared that yesterday, because I didn't even realize I had that many coaches until you shared that. And I was like, oh, wait, I do. I have a speaking coach. I have a spiritual coach. I have a business coach. And I forgot the other one. Uh-oh. Well, I have another coach. But,
Right.
yeah, it's like we're all these special little snowflakes, but we don't have all the answers. And for us to go out and get mentors that can teach us how to do things a little bit better, because we're all really good at one thing, maybe a bunch of things, but really good at one thing. And so to have someone else on our side that's really good at the one thing we're not good at, it's very helpful.
I like that. I like that. So when you think about, we're talking about coaching, we're talking about people that are basically influencing us. It's their job. They actually get paid to help us get better in a specific area. And so there's those coaches. Obviously, it's an investment, but then there's our general circle. And so what is our circle, like our friends, the ones that we choose, and obviously there's some that we kind of grew up with, and even influencing our circles on social media, like groups like this. So how does that affect our limiting beliefs?
Oh, big time. I would say being in these entrepreneur groups and being around all these people who are driven and want success, and entrepreneurs, we are the biggest risk takers out there. And to have support from everyone else, because we all know the journey, and so to have someone that knows what you're going through and to lift you up when you're down, and you get to lift them up when you're down, is incredible.
I like that. I like that. So to be candid, so would you say once you made the decision to go from being a therapist and, let's say, working for a hospital or someone else, having that 9 to 5, and then going the shift to being an entrepreneur, did you find yourself limiting time spent with certain people because maybe they weren't on the same page, or maybe they were toxic to entrepreneurial drive, in order to find more time to connect with people that are that nurture the entrepreneurial drive? How did you make those kinds of moves?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate how it happens, but as you grow, you're gonna have to release some people that aren't growing with you. And as you grow, you're gonna want more people that are growing too. And one of my favorite analogies or metaphors that I heard is, it's like we're all on an elevator and we all want to get up to the penthouse. And sometimes we're going to have to drop people off on different floors in order for us to get to that penthouse.
I like that. I like penthouses.
Me too.
And the beautiful thing is, there's nothing wrong with that. See, sometimes we have a conversation in our head that says, oh, well, we should all get to the penthouse together. We all need to rise together, even if we have to take the stairs. Get off the elevator on the second floor, and we're going to take the stairs. And, it's the big, hard conversation. It's the I don't need to have it all kind of a thing. But I guess it's beautiful how it's like, well, let's say you get that penthouse and you're able to invite people over, and they can enjoy your view too, but they can't live there. They got to go back to their floor.
Right.
But they're able to see what is possible. They're able to see what can be created because you did it first, and now you set the example of that penthouse is possible and what it can do for you. I love that.
I love that too, how you said that. I love penthouses and they're going to come over, but they're not going to stay. And that's true. It's
right.
Your own space, right?
Very true. Very true. Okay. So in growing your business, what's your biggest or favorite way of growing your business? That I'm using that because I think other entrepreneurs want to use it as well as a great way to grow their businesses. So what do you love?
Okay, so I'm very grounded, but I'm also very spiritual. And
Mhm.
so I kind of call myself like woo woo but grounded a little bit.
Okay.
And I really love meditating about the clients that are going to show up and writing letters to my future clients. And I'm not kidding you, it works. I started writing letters to clients that had no disagreements about what I charged. And there was one client I got on the phone that didn't even ask me how much. And when I sent her the invoice, she was thankful. So it's like using the law of attraction and just really believing that you have what people want and you're in your passion and they're going to come.
Okay. So let's be clear. So you're talking about writing a letter. Now, who are you mailing it to? You're mailing it to yourself. You're putting it on your kitchen counter. I mean, what do you do?
You're just writing it on your computer. You don't give it to anyone. It's your little secret. So now I just outed myself to everyone and think I'm probably crazy. But
Right. No, that's fine because it's interesting how there's a common conversation around what's his name? He did actor. He did Dumb and Dumber. He did
Jim Carrey.
Carrey, right? The conversation of how he wrote a check, put it on the mirror. I think for like 10 million, and he put a date on it that he was going to get that within. I think it was a certain time frame, and I think it was literally a month or days right before the due date of that check that he ended up landing the role for. I think it was Dumb and Dumber, and he was paid $10 million for that role. So, yeah, so you're not crazy because people that are successful do it. I played sports, so I played football in college and high school, and I've worked with Olympic athletes, and they all do it in a different way. They use visualization. They look at what they want to create, perfect world scenario. They write it down. They speak it out loud. They, visualize it in their mind. And so, some people have it as, this is positive thinking nonsense. But it's always funny how the people that have created not just success, but extraordinary success, they all do it in one way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So if you're crazy, I want to be your kind of crazy.
It works, right?
There you go. Okay. So that's interesting because my mind was going when I mentioned about being able to get clients. I was thinking, Facebook ads or, do these things on social media or, cold calling people or Starbucks or I don't know, And so it's interesting how you went that route, but I love it.
Well, my mind was going there too. And I was like, well, I started doing Facebook Lives and, but you guys all know this. We're all entrepreneurs. Why don't I share something with you that maybe not everyone's doing that is actually working for me?
I like that. All right, perfect. So we're about to wrap this up in a quick minute. And so I want to ask because we are big fans of obviously being entrepreneurs, creating success, but also having fun. So first, what do you like to do to have fun?
Oh, man. Okay. So you probably wouldn't guess this by me, but I love listening to country music and going country line dancing at the local country bar here. I used to hate country and then I found line dancing and I love it. So it's so much fun.
Okay. I can see it. I can see the draw, social connection, the fun. There's no commitment to dancing with a partner, right?
Yes, that's the best part because where I go, there's a lot of older men, and that's great. But I just don't want to dance with people. I just want to dance on my own and have fun.
I get it. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right, so the next question is, what do you do for, let's say, self-care?
For self-care, let's see. Well, meditate, definitely. And I just don't take things as personally anymore. I think that's my biggest self-care is I used to be so limited with my thinking and think that I wasn't good enough. And when people didn't like me, then I took it personally. And my self-care is more like talking to my head and like, okay, does it matter what they think? No. Are you okay with what you did? Okay. And then I just get to drop it and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that because there's a lot of things that we hold on to that we really, to be honest, have no business holding on to.
Exactly. Yes. Love
I
that.
like that. Okay, I like that. So progress in life, progress in business is important. So us as entrepreneurs is always important. So what about you for your progress? What's next on the horizon for Amy Turner, the No BS Therapy Guru?
Ooh, I like that. No BS Therapy Guru. I'm going to keep that one.
There you go.
So for me, I am writing a book right now, and I'm going on a cruise actually in September, a speaking cruise, so I can start getting myself on stages and sharing my message with the world. So
Okay.
writing a book, speaking, probably eventually maybe make some online courses.
Hmm. So that's another investment you're making in yourself, the cruise.
Yep.
That's awesome. Hope you're taking notes, people. Gotta invest in ourselves. Okay, I like that. And that's almost a lot. That's some self-care right there, man. The cruise, get out there and just, enjoy the sun. I like it. All
Yeah,
right,
I'm excited.
perfect. So let everybody here in the playground know how they can find you.
So you can find me on Facebook, Amy Turner. You can find me on my website, nobstherapy.com. Now, it's still my old website that I created in a fury, so I'm making my new one right now. But if you go to it, don't judge.
Okay, perfect. NoBSTherapy.com.
Mhm.
I'm going to put this up real quick so that people can see it. I mean, it's easy enough. All right, nobstherapy.com. Perfect. All right, family, make sure you check out Amy. She's doing some things. And the beautiful thing is she's right here in the community. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, whether it's something that we've talked about, something maybe we haven't covered, and you want to reach out to her, you're more than welcome to do that. You're also welcome to ask here in the comments of this video, and you can tag her in it. Either way, I'm sure we'll still see it, and either myself or Amy or someone else in the community that has certain information will be able to get back to you, because we're all about being able to create a space that's a safe space. Because I personally believe there's no such thing as a dumb question. I was told that growing up, but I actually believe it, And so the beautiful thing is you won't get judged. There's no judgment here because everyone is at different levels of their process, and everyone processes things differently. I was actually just reading Richard Branson's The Virgin Way, and that was one of the things that he was talking about, how he had to be, he could not understand how to process a financial statement. He just didn't get it. He just didn't get it. And he had to be explained how it works, like literally as if he was a 4-year-old. And he's willing to be transparent and share that because he's not attached to anyone else's opinion about him being slow to connect those things. He knows his strengths and his weaknesses. And look at the massive success that he's created. So with you here in the group, don't worry about, what someone's going to think about a question I ask, or what someone's going to think about, if I ask for help. Don't allow pride or ego or fear stand in the way of you reaching out, of you connecting, of you getting and creating the life that you want, deserve, and should have. All right, family. So Amy, say bye to the people.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. And please ask questions. I know some of this feed might have bad internet connection. So if there's something you didn't hear me say, ask me. I am an open book.
Perfect. I like open books. It's hard to read a closed one. All right, people, we're done. So you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and just go out there and kill it, because amazing days lead to amazing weeks, which lead to fantastic months, which lead to the greatest year of your life. We'll talk to you soon. All right, babe.